Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are hopping mid-series as we were thinking about looking for the next game. But we saw that this was going to game number 5 of 5 and just had to get a piece of the action. Very exciting times. The score is of course tied up 2-2. It is a ZVZ and spawning in the bottom right hand position of Ruins of Serral. Representing Team Liquid.net, we have Snute. His opponent spawning in the top right position of Ruins of Serral, representing mYinsanity. It's the Blue Zerg player, Serral. And we have the gas followed by pull from Serral this time around. And looks like the Overlord is going to be going to the cross-map position. The Overlords have seen each other now, so they know that they are spawning in vertical positions. So the jig is up. Both players know exactly what's going on. We have the hatch followed by the pull from Liquid Snute, and the gas will be coming in last. So that gives Serral a potential timing window with Zergling speed to try and get something done. But of course, if he just sent a bunch of Zerglings, his pull will complete. He'll be able to get a bunch of Zerglings across the map, but Snute should be able to produce some to defend. So the biggest advantage Serral might have in this position is an earlier Baneling Nest or an earlier Zergling speed or something like that. We'll see. He's now up to 100 gas, although not currently on 100 minerals. And there we go. Zergling speed instantly getting started for a mYinsanity player wanting to establish that early map control. It also means if he's able to run past a couple of queens and sneak in a couple of drone kills, that's going to be huge for him. So we'll see if he's able to do that. Baneling Nest starting for both players now as well. So Serral will have the advantage in terms of speed. Snute only has a Baneling Nest up. He will not have quick Zerglings, but Banelings of course are incredibly useful. We'll see if Serral can out-micro them potentially if he decides to go for some sort of aggressive play here. Both sides of course getting their natural expansion. Serral's is going to be a bit later due to the more versatile and potentially more aggressive opening here, but it does of course mean that Snute has a bit of an economic advantage. He's up to 22, now 23 drones versus 20, and of course he managed to get his hatchery down a little bit earlier as well. So at the moment Serral looks like he is happy to get the earliest speed and then just macro up. It doesn't look like he's spending any of his lava and Zerglings at the moment. And once he has Zergling speed finishing, he'll be able to completely destroy these two Zerglings, of course. There we go. Speed completes. And we can basically just leave these Zerglings to play tag team to kill off the slowling from Snute. So Snute has no scouting and no map vision at the moment on the ground because his Zerglings can get chased down and surrounded by anything Serral throws at him. So Snute's going to have to be a little bit careful. He's got 3 queens and a couple of slow Banelings by the ramp, so that definitely qualifies as careful here. And he's going to play this one out very gingerly indeed. He's going to be sneaking in the Roach Warren, is Serral behind this as well. So Snute doesn't know that there isn't some sort of mass Zergling attack waiting to happen with a lot of Baneling support here from Serral. And as a direct result of this, he has to be very careful and very defensive. And I love how Serral, he's kept these 3 Zerglings alive, although if he'll be able to do that through the queens, I don't know. But I love how Serral is just using these Zerglings to get as much scouting information as possible. Really, really well done by our mYinsanity player here. He probably has to get these guys out of there as quickly as he can now, though. But with the queens there, it could end up being a little bit difficult. He's actually moving in for the kill. He's getting a bit sick of it. Oh, he gets a worker as well. That would be great. He doesn't quite manage to do it. And the Zerglings do go down. Overlord here from Snute will not spot the Roach Warren, which is just by the natural expansion. Lair has also started for Snute back at home. So all the scouting information belongs to Serral right now. Both sides are going for their third bases at approximately the same timing. Snute's once again is ever so slightly quicker, and it means that Serral is just a little bit behind. Oh god. Okay, good reactions there to save those lings from the Banelings there. And while he's still behind, the worker count is actually a lot more even. It's 44 to 46 right now. So Serral probably acknowledged that he was slightly behind in the early game, even though he had the faster Zergling speed, because he wasn't able to kill any drones with it, and that's fine. And then he just focused on macroing up off the back of it and allowing his Zerglings to get really good scouting information. So he turned that into something just extremely, extremely solid. Nothing wrong with that at all. The tiniest of advantages can be won or lost very, very easily indeed. Waiting until that Zergling goes down and then instantly putting down the Spire is Snute right now. So Snute going to be going for the Mutalisk approach. Note this has not been seen, of course, by Serral. There you go. He has spotted the Roach Warren, but no biggie there. And I guess that was effectively a safety Roach Warren, because Snute is just going to be producing that Spire and a lot of Zerglings right now. So he's looking to predominantly defend with Speedlings and a couple of Banelings, whereas Serral's next attack is going to involve a number of Roaches as well. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Serral now trying to surround as many of those Zerglings as he can, but he's having to constantly run them around due to the presence of these slow Banelings. That just makes life very difficult. He's up to at least 10 Roaches back home as well. So his next push could end up packing a lot of punch, but I think Snute's bought himself enough time now for the Spire to complete. And as you can see here, it's seconds away from finishing up, and as a direct result... Ooh, did that changing actually spot the Spire? I didn't know. It hasn't spotted the Spire. So Mutalisks are going to be able to pop by now. Mutalisks will pop out by the time these Roaches start inflicting damage on the economy. So Snute has bought enough time. 14 Mutalisks are coming out. He is not messing around with this at all. Even though there's an Overseer here, it hasn't spotted the Spire. Here come the Roaches into the natural expansion. And I'm not sure I agree with the approach of having these Lings out across the map. I'd like to see them delay these Roaches a bit longer, actually. This is very controversial, and I wonder if that ends up being a critical mistake. The Spine Crawler is up. The Mutalisks are going to be able to flock here and kill off the Roaches. But I am very surprised because the Spire is only now going to be useful for one batch of Mutalisks. So I would have liked to see the Zerglings here to try and stall these Roaches out a little bit longer, because killing 2 or 3 of them with the Zerglings would have made a massive difference to how this is played out. A Spire now getting put down once again. Number of workers killed 7 versus 1. And Serral's actually attacking the third base as well. Wow, with a good number of Lings and Roaches. And really, actually, this attack is the one that's kind of gone unanswered. So here come the Mutas. And he sees that there, of course, is Burrow with these Roaches. There's an Overseer popping in. They will be able to kill that off very soon. Good pick off of the Baneling there. And it looks like he'll be able to get away. Really good multi-pronged attack there from Serral. And I'm surprised there weren't more units in place to at least initially meet the Roaches. Instead, they just came up here and killed the Spire effectively for free before the fight kind of started. So I was a little bit surprised to see that. But Snute is now in the driving seat in terms of scouting and harassment, because he's the only guy with flying units at the mo. So we'll see how well that turns out for him. There are Spore Crawlers out on the map right now. Here comes Zerglings and a lot of Mutas actually into this effective wall of Queens. And that could end up proving very, very useful indeed. A lot of Spore Crawlers going out, though, in the front of the base. And as a direct result of that, needs to be careful. These Mutas take a lot of damage from the Spore Crawlers, but he does manage to push Snute back here. And another counter-attack. Look at these Roach hit squads constantly going into the natural expansion. We have 2 Lings. You should probably be dealing with workers there, mate, but never mind. At the natural and third base locations, doing a really, really excellent job. Number of workers killed now going up to 16, so both players are even on 45 workers. We have got the Spire up once again for Snute. Remains to be seen if he's actually going to be transitioning into a larger number of Mutalisks here. There are 2 Roaches burrowed, just kind of chilling out still inside the natural expansion. And Snute hasn't spotted them. These guys are going to be able to do damage later on. Keep an eye out for them. And these burrowed Roaches are definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. The Mutas even getting on top of them to box, and they will go down. These Roaches can patiently wait, I think. Oh no, they're not going to patiently wait. They're going to go ahead and kill them off now. I mean, why not? 2 workers killed so far. And we should be seeing the burrow and moving in opposite directions probably to deal with the Overseer, but the Overseer is in too fast. And as a result, the last of Serral's harassment for now will finish. Overlord for Snute. I guess he can chill out down there if he wants to. No big deal. Could be a future hidden base, I suppose, but I think that Overlord just wanted the day off. And we have Hydralisks coming in for Serral now. Now, note that we still don't have... let me just double-check the mute account here. We're up to 23, but we don't have any Mutalisks in production right now for Snute. So I suspect he's going to be transitioning out of this at some point reasonably soon. That's a lot of Queens and a lot of Transfuses to be messing with, though. If you're those Mutalisks right now, you have to be a little bit worried when you see Queens and Hydras like that. But picking off individual units... is pretty tasty when it comes to this sort of thing. We also have to be careful for those Spore Crawlers as well. Oh, he's going to get the Hydra dead, or is he? Transfuse is coming down from the Queens. We need a couple more, though. The Mutalisks are, wow, they're frantically trying to deal as much damage as they possibly can. I think he should still be targeting down the Hydra Den, but now he knows that the Hydralisk Den is in a rather vulnerable position. And he's going to pick off the spawning pool inside the main, and I think he's going to get it. Are we going to get within Transfuse range? We're not. There goes the spawning pool. Are we going back down to pick off the Hydra? And that would make me really happy right now at Snute. And another Roach hit squad coming in now, this time inside the main base, just constantly doing more and more economic damage to Snute here. Serral being very effective with his harassment this game. 26 versus 3 workers killed, but still the worker supply is 55 to 52. It's not like Snute hasn't been rebuilding, so he's actually completely fine. But he does still have to constantly produce drones to effectively counteract the damage done by this harassment. He hasn't really stopped the harassment. He's only countered the economic damage from it. Fourth base going down now for Snute, prior to for Serral. Lots of back and forth in this game. Serral has an awful lot of Queens down here on the front, really trying to completely shut down these Mutalisks, and they will be able to, as long as they're in this position. I loved how the Mutalisks moved from the main to the natural right now, and I feel like he has the potential to try and pick off the Hydralisk Den and potentially other tech as well a little bit later on in the game. But I want to see Snute be more mobile and just constantly force engagements like that. In the meantime, we appear to have a Nidus network popping out here. So it looks like Serral fancies some pretty quick reinforcements by the looks of things. We'll see how well that works. Here comes the growl. And here we go. Hydras and Queens popping out of this Nidus. Moving basically next to the third base for Snute here. Has Snute seen it? Oh, he's seen it with the changeling now, so he knows exactly what's going on. He has to try and defend this. There are a good number of Banelings. The Banelings are actually going to be really, really helpful here. And here they go, plowing into the Hydras. Oh, wow. They basically decimate the Hydralisk. Is this going to be enough? There are a lot of Queens here with Transfuses available. But the Bounce Glaives are actually killing off a lot of them. I think the Banelings did the trick there for Snute. Yes, that's it. Snute wins. GG from Serral. Despite the harassment being so effective all game long, Snute correctly positioning his units, getting those Banelings in position, and the Hydras had nowhere to go. He will successfully take the series 3-2 over mYinsanity's Serral.